Welcome back. Today I will explain you about some terminologies that are associated with your function. So in the last lecture we talked about this function, that is an addition function, and there is a main function. Main function calls the addition function and execute it to find out the result of 2, means the addition of two number, which is shown over here. So no need to explain this one because I have already explained the detail of this function, how to write the function of detail in the last video itself. So go and watch that last video and come here, you will understand everything on this video. Okay, so what are the terminologies? So first of all, I like to explain you the two terminologies that is asked by anyone is known as your calling function and called function. Okay, so the first term that we are discussing will be your calling function. Second one we are going to discuss is your called function. So let us understand it. So what is calling function? Calling function means the function who calls another function for execution. Okay, so that is acting as a calling function. In this program we have two functions. One is called your addition function, second one is your main function. Okay, so who calls whom in this particular example? Actually the main function calls your addition function. Where it is called? In this line, in line number 14. You can see we are calling, means the main function is calling the addition function over here. So that's why this main function is known as your calling function. Okay, so this main function is called your calling function. I'll give the definition of these terms calling function in the description itself, so you can collect it and write it as a note. Fine. Then the next term is to discuss your called function. So if this is the calling function, obviously anybody can say, sir, this is your called function. So why it is called called function? Because it is called by someone else. So who is someone else? That is the calling function. See, in this program there are only two functions. That's why there will be only one calling function and one called function. But sometimes you might be going to see in future video that we are going to write multiple function in a single program. That time it is not necessary that every function will be called by your main function only. So if it is called by main function, obviously main function is acting as calling function for all other functions. But sometimes it happens that some other function will call someone. So that time that calling function definition will be changed, right? So for this program only, the main function is acting as a calling function. Because the main function is calling this addition function, and addition function was called by your main function. That is why the addition function is known as called function. Okay, so this is the two term mainly asked in Vivas ways. Well, now the third point that I am going to discuss is your argument. So generally argument is of two types. One is called your formal argument, and second one is called your actual argument. So what exactly these arguments are? Actually, whenever we are writing anything using function, this part, this int a and int b, here x and y are actually, these are called arguments, right? But in many books you can find that these are called parameters. These are referred as parameters. Okay, and this xy is referred as your argument. That's fine. But some may ask you, what is the difference between formal argument and actual argument? So generally the argument which is written over here are actually called actual arguments. So argument is specifying the actual argument, and this parameter is actually called formal arguments. Okay, these parameters are actually called formal arguments. So why it is called formal argument, why it is called actual argument? Because see, the main function is calling this function. So main function has the actual values. which is taken from the user. Like this printf and scanf function is used for taking the input from the user. That is why the actual value is with main function, but main function is calling this function, the addition function. That's why he is exactly passing a copy of it, the value of x and the value of y. One copy of this two value is actually transferred to a and b. That is why these are called formal argument. So it is the best time to explain you that how exactly the function is executing. Let me explain you over here. So the execution starts from main, that we all know. There are three variables created due to this line. So what are the three variables? One is called x, second one is called y, and third one is called z. So x, y, z, right? Then you ask the user for two integers. Let's say the user has entered 11 and 67. So 11 and 67 he has entered, and I kept it in ampersand x and ampersand is y. Okay, so exactly you are taking this input from the user. That is why this is called your actual arguments. Actual arguments, because you are taking it from the user itself. Okay, now talking about the call. So when we call this function, the control will automatically goes here. So when he goes here, he takes two values. So whose value is he is taking? That is x and y. So what is the value of x? 11, and second value is 67. So this two value is exactly passed to the function while we are calling this function. Okay, so this 11 is a copy of this x, and 67 is a copy of this y. So where it is going to be stored? So here there are two lines. Whenever I am coming to this function, there is a two variable. So what are the two variable? One is a and second one is b. Okay, due to this two line, two variables get created. So 11 will be assigned to a and 67 will be assigned to b. Don't confuse, because 67 will not going to assign it to a. Okay, so every time the process means the way it is called, the same thing is assigned. X is declared first, y is declared second, a is declared first, b is declared second. So x value will go to a, y value goes to b. So now that you get 11 and 67, that means one copy is given to him. So that is why this is called your formal arguments. Okay, now the formal arguments contain 11 and 67. Then another line gets executed, that is c. So c gets created. Then this line executes, c is equal to a plus b, which is showing the result is 78. So 78 is stored in c. Now c returns back the result. So when this value is returned, it will return to this line itself. Okay, now the z variable, which is empty now, means we are assuming that this is empty. So this z value will constitute the c value. So c value is what? C value is 78. So 78 will be assigned to z. So 78 comes here. Okay, then after returning from the function, whenever I am executing this line, then 78 gets displayed. Got it? This is how the execution taken place. So I hope after this understanding this execution process, you can understand why it is called actual argument, why it is called formal argument. Now I hope it is clear, but I'll definitely give a definition on the description box itself. Now the next term that we are going to discuss is function definition and function declaration. There are two terms. One is called function definition and second one is called your function declaration. So it will take around 5 minutes to discuss. So I think I should not discuss this one in this video. Okay, so in the next video I'll explain you about function definition and function declaration. This declaration is sometimes called your function prototype. Okay, this is the most important part of the discussion, because many people ask you about this function prototype. What is a function prototype? Okay, so I'll make a separate video on this function prototype. There I'll explain about your function definition also. Okay, with this I'm stopping the discussion, means I'm ending the discussion. We'll meet in the next video. Thanks for listening. Goodbye.